Back of the Future.
Like, we need to stop.
What's going on, people? Welcome back to another OG3 brought to you by the Off the Ball Network. And we got a great show for you today. We got a special guest joining us with us also. But I'm Chris. That's Jeff. That's Mo. And special guest Jelani, Off the Ball Network. What's going on, Jeff?
It's great to be back. I'm glad. So we got 4 this week to cancel out. So cancel out my missing last week.
Yeah, Jeff.
Like,
Jeff loves sleep.
Rest assured, everybody. I literally just passed out on the couch and missed the show last week. There was nothing more complicated than that. Never been so upset in my life. I was so angry about the NFL Combine, and I didn't get to tell anyone about how dumb the NFL. Like, there's no reason to go to the NFL Combine anymore.
Jeff saw the people running the 40s. He was like, I'm over it. Time to sleep.
It's so dumb. Everybody's like, oh, man. One guy runs a gauntlet, and they're like, oh, he's a lock at wide receiver.
He's a first-round pick. Yeah. He runs a 4-2-1.
What are we doing?
It's like John Ross.
Did we? Haven't we learned that lesson? Here's what I know about the Combine. It don't matter. Somebody's still going to overdraft half these players. Like, they know. Like, no. They're like, Marvin Harrison did the right thing. He's like, nah, I'm good. Like, y'all got 3 years of tape. Like, okay, here's what I would say about the NFL Combine. I'll be done with. Here's all I'm saying about the NFL Combine. You can't tell me that Marvin Harrison could have done anything at the NFL Combine that's better than what he did in that Utah game his freshman year. Like, I would rather have 3 hours of game tape than a 40 and a gauntlet drill. Like, that's stupid. Anyway, NFL Combine's so dumb.
I'm great, by the way, Chris.
We can move on now. See, I feel better.
We got the solo cup himself.
And by the way, Jelani is an OG at the network, so he has every right to be a part of this panel.
Yeah, he fits it's like a guest, but it's like, he fits the mold of the OG.
And we got Atlanta's, I don't even know he's a Met fan, Jelani in the building. Host of what the game is. His co-host.
That's till 2025, please.
His co-host had maybe his team had the pickup of the century, and we'll talk about that. I'm sure he's ecstatic. I'm sure he can't wait to get those division championships.
Is Mac Jones okay? Can we do a ranking?
The answer is yes.
Is he the whitest quarterback in history? Is Mac Jones the whitest quarterback in history?
I thought you were gonna say right now.
History.
That walk at the draft was definitely
that was like a true, like, he was walking like a true, like, person that's just been in the gym for 2 weeks trying to get back in shape, and so, like, they're not where they want to be, but they feel good about themselves because they're doing something to get back in shape. Like, that's how he walked down for the draft.
That's the greatest explanation of anybody I've ever heard, and that was so accurate.
Like, that was a crazy walk.
He walked like somebody trying to.
That just, they just got started, and then they kind of look around because they're a little embarrassed and think that people who've been in the gym actually care about what they're doing, and they really don't. Like, they're really not judging at all, but you're so self-conscious.
So cautious,
you feel good about yourself, and then, like, that guy next to you comes and throws 3 plates on the bench press, and you're like, oh, damn, and here I look walking like this. Like, yeah, he had that kind of
walk. You gotta go to a different side of the gym.
Best
hell, I'd be lifting weights to hell. There's been a couple guys where, like, I'm lifting, I'm thinking I'm doing something, but I'm just in my own mind. And then they come next to me, and I already know, listen, the adjustment that I've had of working out in a civilian gym is the fact of, like, I got to accept, like, I think people are on steroids now. Like, I'm now in a room full of people might be on steroids.
Most of them are. Yeah.
Some were in the military, but it wasn't like now, bro. I think some of these guys are on the juice. And then they come and lift next to you, and I'm like curling the 80-pound bar, like, and then they just come and they're warming up with the 80. All right, bro,
it's not even worth it. That's why I don't go to the gym, because I don't want to show off.
Oh, I don't. Oh, here you
go. But okay, so real quick, here's what I don't understand. Like, how did there's 4 of us here that knew exactly how this Mac Jones situation was going to go, 3 or 4 years ago, whatever it was. And now we're there. Like, how does everybody miss? How does, like, the quote unquote smartest franchise in the NFL not as smart as any of the 4 of us on here? I just don't understand what these teams see.
I don't think they did right by Mac
Kenny
Jones.
Pickett's another one. Kenny Pickett's never
Yeah.
going.
They did
He's a
him.
good
They did
quarterback.
Mac Jones wrong.
But they
by not
didn't
having
do right
real
by
coordinators.
You brought him in to be a game manager with a really good defense. But the thing about a game manager,
Yeah, but you can't bring him in first round.
you got to give him. But you could though. Like Mac Jones had just in his defense. Now I didn't. Granted, if I was throwing to Devontae Smith and Henry Ruggs all season
Ruggs,
too,
yeah.
I'd probably putting up 5,000 yards under that circumstance. But even with him doing that, if you're going to get a guy, even in the first round, and you're like, he won't turn the ball over. He's an accurate passer. We just need him. You got to put a game manager can't win games with no weapons. So if you're going to get a game manager, you got to give him some weapons. You know, the Patriots last year had three of the top 10 worst wide receivers in football. You had three of the top 10
Zero speed too. Zero speed.
rated
Absolutely none.
PFF rated every wide receiver in the NFL that took more than like 50 snaps in the season. Just took snaps, not caught balls. Took more than 50 snaps. Three of your wide receivers were in the top 10 of worst wide receivers. I'm sorry. Even
Mac Jones still terrible.
Mahomes ain't doing nothing with that. Now, he's better. The Patriots would be better with Mahomes than Mac Jones, but understanding that you would say only Mahomes, maybe Mahomes is the only person that will win any type of
Fair.
significant games with that roster is like, okay, he wasn't set up for success. Like their receiver group got worse every year. They went to the playoffs his first year when he was able to manage games, throw
They
the
did not
decent.
separate. They couldn't get out of separation. Like they were slow. They were.
Oh, it was
You
bad.
don't re-sign back your
Listen,
best wide receiver.
I don't
for
think he's a great
year.
quarterback, but like they didn't give him a
You
chance.
get
And then
Juju
coordinator-
the money that you get.
coordinator
Spencer gave
situation.
I think he threatens.
All right.
I think he threatens
All right.
Trevor Lawrence.
Okay, let's segue into this. Is a perfect segue. I got it.
He
So
threatens.
let's
Trevor
segue into another average white quarterback who has weapons that just signed a 4-year deal in Atlanta. Kirk Cousins, the news of the day.
He's the master manipulator. He's literally the master manipulator. Like, and I say that not because he's not good, because I think Kirk Cousins, he's a good quarterback.
Nah.
That's it. He's good. He's not great. He's not trash. He's good. He can win you some games. You
That's
can win a division with him. I don't think you'll win a Super Bowl with him. But if you really think about it, me saying that about Kirk Cousins, out of the top 10 quarterbacks, I can say that about 6 of them.
Yep.
6 of the top 10 quarterbacks anyway. So I think with Kirk Cousins, like it's the way he's able to get over on. He keep getting this money. He keep getting this big time money. And I'm not hating. I'm not hating at all. I love it. Like, get your money. But it's the way Kirk Cousins is able to do it by flying by just being above average. Like, he's a good quarterback. He's an above average quarterback, and he's getting paid top money, a bunch of guaranteed money every time he signs a contract. And if you notice, he's never screwed himself over by signing anything more than a 3-year deal. He will not commit anywhere more than 3 years because he knows if he does anything longer, they want to give him less money. But the shorter contract I take, the more money you're willing to give, because you know if it doesn't work out, it come off the books anyway. Atlanta's off his contract after year 1, realistically. After next year, the way they're off of it if he sucks next year. So if he don't come back and he's good off the Achilles, so they know. And so Kirk Cousins helps a team, helps him. We'll give you a bunch of money because you know what? The way it is, we can get up off your contract after 1 or 2 years anyway.
Yeah.
So if it don't work out, you bring in a quarterback, you draft him. He sits behind Kirk Cousins for half the season. By week 8, you're ready to bench Cousins. You're going to cut him anyway because he's a cap casualty. And then you have a quarterback that you can, and I think that's what Atlanta's going to do. I don't think they're going to draft one this year. I think they're going to draft one next year and be able to segue 1 or 2 years of Kirk Cousins and then be able to have a quarterback not be a rookie and be a starter. And you get to kind of maneuver into your next quarterback as opposed to like, yeah, let's just go draft Jaden Daniels this year and see what makes shake and be in the same position 3 years from now if he's not the guy.
But the one thing I don't like is, okay, Kirk, that's fine. He's proven that he's decent. But he's also coming off a major injury for someone his age. Like, I know everybody keeps recovering from this, but it's not
36.
guaranteed, right?
I agree. Because he got all that money coming off an Achilles.
Mm-hmm.
And like you're an unathletic quarterback coming off an Achilles. That's like it's not part of his game. Like essentially, so like if he's not 100%, he's not really a runner. So you don't think it affects his game that much, but that Achilles, I'm telling you now, because I still deal with it. That Achilles tightens up and you can't move at all. And guess what he can do? Kirk Cousins can move in the pocket. He knows how to maneuver in the pocket. He knows how, but when that ankle area, because the Achilles get tight, he's not gonna be able to move like that. And I don't know. I mean, it's just, I was surprised he did get that money coming off an Achilles tear. Like that is, he tore it late enough in the season. He might not even be ready for the start of the season.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like I factor that in a lot, and I just keep. I get so here's what we know about the NFL, especially after today. It's all about like teams just plug somebody into that position. The money you got to pay somebody, and then like really like it's really not about your ceiling, because you can't tell me that if they both play their absolute best next year, Justin Fields' ceiling is higher. Now I understand it's riskier, but I think we can agree that Kirk Cousins probably can't get you to a Super Bowl, let alone win one. There might be a world out there that in 2 years Justin Fields can, and if he can, he can't. But what we know is like teams are gonna be like, just pay the guy, pay the safe guy. We know we're gonna be
10 to 12 wins, win you the division, and maybe win a playoff game. Like it's safer because guess what? You don't lose your job as the Atlanta Falcons if you have a quarterback that can win your division and win a playoff game. Your job is secure. And so it's safe. Everybody get to play it safe. They got a new head coach. So they played the safe move because if they try and bring Justin Fields in, think about it. Justin Fields is an exciting weapon. He can do so much. And then you have Bijan, the vision of everybody saying, man, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson, and Justin Fields on an offense. Guess what now? That puts pressure on a coaching staff because everybody's looking at you like, man, you got everything. Build the offensive line in the draft. Everybody does it. Like any team with a good offensive line has built their O-line through the draft and then a couple free agents. No team has a bunch of free agents and has a really good offensive line. If anybody's ever noticed, ask Dallas, ask Kansas City, and they went through the rough patch of when they were young and their oldest guy was a vet, and then some young starters. They went through a rough patch for half a season. By the end of the season, they looked like an elite offensive line. So if I was Atlanta, I would have went and got Justin Fields. Built the offensive line. I got all the weapons in place. I have a decent defense. I can build an O-line and a defense in one draft and one free agency. I can build that one offseason. They could have did that and had a weapon, but then that puts pressure on the coaching staff because if you have Justin Fields, the expectation is people know his ceiling is higher, and so they're going to want the results. It can't just be 10-6 with a mediocre offense with Justin Fields. They could be 10-6 with a mediocre offense with Kirk Cousins because his numbers going to be just good enough where people going to be like, oh, another team wasting the potential of Justin Fields. Now people are looking at you as a coaching staff.
Yeah.
And you would have to pay Justin Fields if he balled out.
So that was the main thing. They didn't want to trade and then feel like
afraid of Justin Fields because if he balls out, and he can, like he could ball out with the Raiders, he could ball out with the Falcons. Like, and if he doesn't, and he just sucks. Push him to the wayside. He's a backup quarterback, and we never talk about him again. But the fact that he hasn't reached his ceiling, and we know he's still young enough to have one, like if he balls out this year, you got to pay him. And a guy like Fields, I think if he plays really well, you ain't paying him Baker Mayfield money. You got to pay him a little more than that. And I don't know if teams want to commit to that of 1 year of Justin Fields showing his best year. And then now we're stuck with that for 5 years. And maybe that was just a contract year anomaly type of season. Because we see that all the time too. Guys ball out on contract years.
All right. Maybe let's ask the Falcons guy.
Nah, Mo hit a lot of good points. The main thing for me, I think I tweeted earlier, I'm just mad how they've been handling the whole quarterback situation for these last few years. Like you run your MVP quarterback out of town for Deshaun Watson, who obviously has been a shell of himself, comes with a bunch of issues. We all know the story there. You run him out of town. I even heard and saw somebody said that they actually called him last year to try to bring him back and he declined, which I don't know if that's true or not, but it's a pretty funny thing to me. But anyway, you run him out of town. Now you want to sign somebody for around this. Well, he was making 50, Kurt's getting 45 off of an Achilles injury. And then you still we don't know. I guess the draft is going to tell me a little bit more about like kind of like where their head's at, because we still don't have no plan in place. Cause like really, essentially this contract is a 2-year thing for Kurt. Like so those first 2 years are guaranteed. If after that or whatever the case may be, they cut him, he's only got $10 million, I think, on the books of the third year. And then the fourth year, nothing's guaranteed. So it's really a 2-year type deal, but it's just the whole way they're handling the quarterback situation. Chris said it before we got into the show. Last year, they took the quarterback room as a joke. Starting Desmond Ridder, like we literally didn't. He played one snap or one drive all of preseason. Like, what are we doing? Who do we think he is? And we obviously saw what we did. We wasted a whole year last year. So it's really just how they're handling the whole thing. I personally, like, I don't know if it's a popular opinion now, but I personally would have felt like if we're going to do kind of like what we're doing, I would have rather had Russ for the year or two, whatever it was going to do, sign him for a year or two. I rather would have had Russ. I personally can see the Justin Fields thing, but understood where their head is at. Like you said, Mo just said it. Pretty much have to pay him. If you're trading for him, you got to pay the guy. Like you're not going to trade for him and then just let him walk, essentially. So I understand them not going that route. But like I said, the Kirk Cousins thing,
they could have got Russ for nothing.
That's the whole thing. You could have got Russ for nothing.
Steelers got Russ for $1 million.
But he was 26 and 8 last year.
The stats thing. Oh, Kyle Pitts is in heaven right now. Yo, I'm gonna.
Either way, I would say either way. I know all the guys are feeling a lot better than they did going into it last year, which is good. I rather this outcome than whatever it was going to be like from last year. But all in all, I feel like there's still no concrete plan because people are thinking about now, but I'm also thinking about the future. Like I don't want because like you said too, Kirk Cousins is not good enough to win us a Super Bowl. We're not going to the Super Bowl. So like, what's the point of going all in?
But Jelani, you just got it. Your division's so bad that you just got to get in the playoffs. You never know what happens.
But that's not good enough at this point. Like, because another thing Mo said too is like, most
in the playoffs.
Just get in and just hope something happens. We're not good enough. That's the whole thing.
Real quick. All I'm gonna say I'm gonna play devil's advocate because I'm with you. But I'm going to play devil's advocate. If you're Kirk Cousins, though, and you're the Atlanta Falcons, all right, we can win our division. We got the best quarterback in the division right now, in my opinion. I think he's better than Bryce Young, Baker Mayfield, or Derek Carr right now. Then you talk about going and getting in the NFC playoffs. Who's in your way in the NFC right now that you fear at the quarterback position? They don't have one. The guy that might be the feared guy in the NFC might be Jordan Love. But you're going to be Jared Goff, Dak, Jalen Hurts. All of those guys have plummeted, and basically the only one that's went to the Super Bowl, Brock Purdy and then Jalen Hurts. One of them, you watch Jalen Hurts and them last year. So like
that's the thing, I'm not fearing quarterback. I'm fearing team structure as a whole.
Is just above average. Like Dak ain't done nothing in the playoffs for you to be like, we got to beat the Cowboys and Dak. Jalen Hurts made it to the Super Bowl, but then they came back down to earth last year. They ain't done nothing where you're like, man, we got to beat Philly, and Kirk Cousins can't do that. Then you look at Detroit. That's still, we didn't buy Detroit all year. Even when they made it to the NFC Championship game, this could be a one-off season. Detroit could be back to being 9-8, 10-7, consistently in there, and they could be in the same ballpark as Atlanta. All these teams are pretty much in the same ballpark in the NFC right now. But we look at the AFC and you'd be like, all right, Kirk ain't beating none of those guys over there, but he can beat those guys to get there. Once you get there, once you're there, you deserve to be there, and anything can happen. I'm not saying the Falcons go to the Super Bowl, but if I'm thinking about Kirk Cousins, I'd be like, how come Kirk Cousins, he could get them there if people think Dak and Jalen Hurts, he ain't no worse, essentially. He ain't no worse. He puts up great numbers in the regular.
I agree with everything except I can't get past like he's like rehabbing right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the whole thing.
If he's healthy, I'm like,
I would have took a healthy rest if we're gonna go about the way we're going about it.
Because
but also
they come back from the Achilles, they always wind up with like a supplemental injury. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is gonna be the same way. Like, Aaron Rodgers, no, he ain't. Aaron Rodgers is gonna be hurt first couple weeks again. It's just too hard.
Yeah, but it also just depends like how we build it. Like I was waiting for I knew for about 3-4 days they were signing Kurt. It's been really for weeks. They've been saying like they really weren't in on Justin Fields at all. So for me, like once Russ got released, I'm like, oh, let's maybe shift our focus there. But obviously,
it's so much money.
That's what I'm saying. But
at least it's limited.
That's the whole thing. But it's also how they're going to build like around the rest of the team. Like we have a solid foundation in certain spots. Like Mo talked about the offensive line. Like we already got our right side locked up pretty much with Gary and Chris Lindstrom. Left side, Jake Matthews has been, a dog for us since we've drafted him. It's really just that left guard position. But other than that, like our whole focus needs to be defensive line, defensive backs, and obviously receivers. Like those are my 3 needs going into the draft and free agency as a whole. If we handle that, then all right, I'm on board where Mo's head's at.
But also hear me out here. Like that's fine. If you're going to do it this way, we're gonna assume that Kirk Cousins is going to hold down the fort for a couple years. Then you got another plan at QB. Well, then you might as well just get rid of Bijan. Like it's just like, what do you think you'll get 8 years out of a running back? Like you might as well. Like, I don't understand the point of drafting Bijan if this was the approach you were going to take for the future of the Falcons.
That's the whole thing. That's what I'm
saying. It doesn't make any sense. It's you can't. Like,
we have no
we
direction.
we just saw it with Saquon. We're going to talk about Saquon here in a minute. Like, it didn't work because you got to be ready when you get the running back. You got to be absolutely
that's
ready.
The piece that's supposed to put you over the top.
Yes, that's the last piece, not the first piece. So like, you ain't building on Bijan because like he's either going to get paid and leave, like we just saw Eckler do, we saw Saquon do, we saw Swift do. Yeah. So like it just, I don't. That's the only part of it I don't get is like it's just you're just wasting another running backs great years by postponing this. I don't know why teams keep doing this.
And Jeff, you said it. The next thing we're talking about is Saquon Barkley signing with the most disgusting team in football.
Don't sound too excited.
I knew this.
You got rid of him.
Yeah, that's what I said. Why did y'all decide to pay Daniel Jones?
Because they did the right thing. They're like, nah,
it is.
Hey, I want y'all to know, like, there's gonna come a point in time. Saquon is gonna be unhappy. I don't care what anybody say.
Yep.
DeAndre Swift ain't say much, but guess what? He ain't re-signed with
He didn't say, did he?
He didn't say nothing about what I'm about to say. But if you think for 1 second that Saquon Barkley, with a running back with incentives in his contract, is going to sit there for 3 years and be happy with a first and goal tush push for Jalen Hurts taking half a yard touchdowns, Philly's crazy. If Philly fans think that's how the offense is going to be ran from here on out, this tush push, they got another thing coming and think Saquon going to be happy. No way, bro. You're not.
And they just lost the greatest center to ever play football ever, according to some people that don't know football. But
it got a little crazy this week on the Kelsey stuff. I'm
ridiculous. You know what? People complain about Taylor Swift. They act like he complained about Taylor Swift. We got more Jason Kelsey than we ever
way too much Jason.
Wait, it was disgusting. It was like I'm more sick of this.
He already talked about, bro. He is America. And then with his brother dating Taylor Swift, he was able to take on the persona of I am your ideal American man. I'm telling you, he took on the persona and rolled with it.
I know. That's deeper than.
And here's the thing, I like it.
Deeper than we'll get into, but I would know what you're saying.
They're Ohio guy.
They ain't gotta like that out. Yeah, he embraced.
They're Ohio guys, and they come back and they act cool. But man, I'm like, everybody was acting like he announced he was dying. I'm like, he just retired. He's like 36.
Yeah.
Like, let's calm down.
We'll never see a
center. Nobody knew who Jason Kelsey was.
3 years ago, nobody knew.
Man, man, I still don't.
Just figured out that was Travis's brother a few years ago.
Bro, Jason got famous, like really, really realistically, bro. He really got like, I say famous that year of the Super Bowl when they played Kansas City and their mom was like the face of the week. Like she was that's when everybody really started caring about like the Kelseys essentially was like, cause their mom was a superstar. And then Travis comes and dates Taylor Swift this year. And it's like, now everybody and their mama care about, everybody and their mama care about him.
So, like, it's crazy.
That's real.
Like,
this is real.
I do not like, here's the thing. Jason Kelsey, great, legit great career, whatever. But first of all, put him in the Hall of Fame. As soon as he retired, like, next stop, Canton. I'm like, well, yes, he probably, but calm down. And then second of all, I was like, he only played 13 years, good career, but he ain't Joe Thomas. And third of all, what the fuck do I care about a Philadelphia Eagles center? I got no connection.
You know what's bad about Philly is that they have a statue of a fictional character and that they praise. that just silly.
Why you be talking about Rocky? Why you be talking about Rocky?
Yeah,
why we gotta bring it up?
They praise
Apollo Creed just died, and you talking about Rocky?
They praise a fictional character, Jeff. This is not even not real. That's like New York.
Iconic, but Rocky Balboa is iconic.
That's like us doing Jesus Shuttlesworth, having a statue of Jesus Shuttlesworth in Brooklyn.
No, we're talking about Rocky. Rocky got exposed for a fraud.
He's a character.
But
Rocky got Clubber Lang whooped that ass because Rocky was a fraud.
Jesus Shuttlesworth also wished he was half of what Rocky was. So
you know what?
Whoa!
He said, "Get him out of here."
That is inexcusable.
Nonsense. The greatest movie
that
ever.
Is inexcusable.
You're not getting a statue.
Short leash over there, huh?
Like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, the Mexico statue.
Bring me back.
All right.
I know you did not just say He Got Game is the greatest movie ever. I know you did
It's
not.
Greatest
It's
basketball
one of the
movie,
greatest movies ever.
basketball movie. Basketball.
It is not the
basketball.
greatest basketball movie. It's
I
not.
mean, and what is? You know
It's
what? Whatever. Forget about Saquon. What is the greatest basketball movie then?
What's the greatest
Forget
basketball?
about Saquon.
Coach Carter is better.
I knew
Thunder
Coach
Up?
Carter was a good one.
Coach Carter's good.
I'm taking Coach Carter.
Over.
Yeah, over He Got Game easily. What are we even talking about? Cruz said love and basketball. Let's
That's not true.
not do this.
No,
yeah.
I mean, Cruz, stop it. Bam.
Yeah, love and basketball. Okay, so Coach Carter.
Mhm.
God,
He can't even think about it. It's too hard.
if you really, bro, white men can't jump. I'm taking
I
white
knew he
men.
was gonna say. I
That
knew he was
white
gonna say White Man King.
It's definitely over. He Got Game 100%.
It's in my Mount Rushmore.
Sidney
Yeah.
Dean and Billy Ho over Jesus Shuttlesworth. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
They
you know-
I didn't even let him get
Oh.
the third.
It's
All right.
disrespectful. We will not disrespect the greatest.
We
basketball
apologize to the Shuttlesworth family.
movie.
Jesus, Jake.
The Ray Allen scene where he goes with Rick Fox. You don't think that's one of the greatest scenes ever?
Mm-hmm. White
Come
Devil.
on
get
now,
you.
Mo.
No.
Come on now, Mo.
Okay.
All right.
So
Well, back to
just
Saquon.
it's
Back to
funny because
Saquon.
me and Stuart are actually going to do that show here soon, so we'll be able to.
I
hash
can't
this
wait
out.
to hear that. Because, like, well, when it comes, when you think about like sports movies and then you think about basketball, though, like, if you really think about it, the basketball movies, if you go down the list, a lot of them really weren't that great. Like, they
A lot
didn't.
of them are comedies.
I like.
some-
That's all I'm
You
about
know what
to
was
say.
bad?
I like
The
Glory
one
Road.
with
Glory Roads.
Glory
that
Road
was
Road's
the one
hype.
with Ben Affleck. Everyone thought that was going to be good. That was trash.
Oh, that movie sucked when he was
Oh,
the
yeah, I
drunk
didn't
coach.
watch that.
Yeah,
the
the coach.
Yeah, I went and watched it. I thought it was going to be a great movie. I was like, oh, I can't wait to see this
Ah,
movie.
man.
My
They
wife
did
said,
the previews
I
right on
watched
that
that
one.
movie. That movie was so bad. We was both disappointed. Even my wife was like, I want to watch this movie. Like, this seemed like a you movie, and I think we would enjoy it together. We sat down and watched that. Man, after I seen him drinking a shower beer, I said, man, what are we doing?
You know what was good?
What are we doing?
Yo,
Yes,
life
what-
can't be that bad if you got to drink
No,
in the
what
shower.
was the
Gotta
one
shower.
Adam Sandler made last year or 2 years ago?
The one, the Netflix one?
Yeah,
with the diamond gems, the
Oh no,
gems.
no. Are you talking?
Where
No,
Herman
no.
Golan
That
is.
was good
That's
too.
not considered basketball. Is that considered?
No, not
basketball?
that one.
Yeah.
The
No,
one with the
not
real
Uncut
basketball player.
Gems. No. He's talking
Was
about
that
the
the
last
Scout?
year.
He's talking about the scouting one
When he was the agent. When he was
that
the
one was
agent.
And you
That
know
was
what's
pretty
good?
good.
Anthony
Yeah, that was
Edwards
good.
plays a good bad guy.
Yeah,
He could play.
that
a
was
good
pretty
villain.
good.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
That was,
No,
that was-
Uncut
that
Gems was super good, but that was from Kate. That was
That was
with,
just 'cause KG was in it.
It was
Yeah,
good though. That was
KG
a
was
good
good.
movie.
They
That
let-
movie's
it was a good
crazy
movie.
though. It makes me
Yeah,
nuts.
the ending was.
Oh, the ending
wild.
pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't
It was
seen
based on the story.
I haven't seen a movie
Like-
ending pissed me off more than that one because I'm like, bro, you telling me like he won
Yeah.
this bet was gonna be able to pay him back. Like he made it through this whole movie, living, avoiding him, and it, just to get,
Mhm.
hey,
That
I'm a
Oh,
movie
yeah, no
pissed me
care for
off.
spoiler alerts. No care.
Uncut Gems. If you haven't seen Uncut
Uncut
Gems
Gems.
at this point, then you're not gonna watch it.
No, that's
So-
one of the endings that pissed like that.
You
Sopranos,
literally-
Sopranos
It
still
still made me
bothers me.
mad.
They
Yeah.
sit there and
Sopranos still
watch him
bothers
win the money. They sit there and watch him win the money. They know they about to
No.
get paid. He unlocks it out and they just shoot him in the head.
Mhm.
And it's like, are you
Yeah.
serious? And then they watch it, and then they let us watch the store get robbed, and we're like, are you serious?
Seriously, yeah.
You let him
Yeah.
survive through all of this, and he finally wins, and that's when
Yeah.
he dies. He
Based
dies.
off a true story.
He should have got
That's
killed
fair.
a long time ago after owing you money weeks ago. Like y'all let him win the bet, and then was like, yeah, we're gonna take all that and kill you.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, that one bothered me. Yeah, that bothered me. There's a few shows that just bother me and all that.
Sometimes they do it.
But free
So
agency.
what other free? Let's get
been
back to
crazy.
free agency.
Free agency's been wild today. It started, cold and crazy, and it still is, and all that. The Giants traded for Brian Burns, who preemptively just gets $150 million. Saquon goes to Philly. There's a lot of moves. Running backs moving all over.
Here's what I say about Saquon,
goes to
though.
the
At
Packers,
least
like
Saquon and the Packers both did things that we just talked about. They got a running back that helps them day one, not
Yeah.
3 years from now, not 4 years from now. Like I know it sucks about Aaron Jones getting cut and all that, but like Jacobs, if he plays like he did in the last couple years for this year, the Packers are better. If Saquon plays pretty good, the Philadelphia Eagles are a little better. That's all they have to do is get a little better. So at least they got running backs that help them tomorrow. not 3 years from now.
You got a running back after so Green Bay hasn't paid Jordan Love, but they're going to. But being able to get a running back like Saquon or Josh Jacobs after you've already paid your quarterback, I think is never a bad thing because clearly they're taking pay cuts in that situation. Like if you already have a paid quarterback, like I'm a little weary about this. Like why did Austin Eckler? Why did Washington go get him? Because for what? Like they don't have a quarterback.
There's an perfect example. Eckler is basically like, I'm just going to take the money. Like,
because they're probably going to draft a quarterback. So like you got a running back that, I mean, if you went with Sam Howell next year, then I would say maybe, it's a little bit better pickup, but it seems.
But not in the East. Like Washington's not even, they're still the fourth, if they're lucky, the third best team in their own division.
Yeah.
Like they have zero chance of doing anything next year. What's Eckler going to do? That's just, and again, I'm not hate, like that's Eckler's choice. That's fine. Like you might have all the reasons in the world to go there, but it ain't to win. It ain't about winning.
That sucks.
But
Barkley's going to win. Like Eagles are going to win.
Like when we talk about free agency though, like today was like a madhouse, right? And there's still plenty of players out there that haven't signed and could sign. The tampering period just started but these moves that have been made so far, have you not enjoyed sitting back? Like my team ain't make no moves. So I get to sit back right now and enjoy everybody else loving the moves that they've made. But in the back of my head, I'm thinking I still haven't seen a move made yet. This isn't basketball. Free agency football is not basketball. Like y'all know that one or two doesn't make a difference, guys. Yeah. Like Philly is not now Super Bowl favorites because they got Saquon Barkley. Like some of these moves, like to me, don't make a difference. Like because of football being so many factors, like these one major moves, like I'm like, it's still not that much closer.
I think so far. I mean, I tell you, here's what I would say though. So far, like we talk about playoff, like let's not forget Pittsburgh Steelers were in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, and
they just got better at quarterback. Regardless of how much better, they got a little bit better, and they were a playoff team.
They could win their division.
The Falcons got a lot better. I think none of us really think that they're going to do much damage, but they got a lot better. Like they got double the wins better. Like, so I guess we look at it that way. That's probably worth it.
Yeah, because I will say, like when you do look at it though, like if you upgrade at quarterback, then you do get better. So like Atlanta can be like,
you get better.
We got better.
You get better across the board because your defense believes, your offensive players play harder. There ain't no way you can tell me when you go out there and Ritter's your quarterback that you're like running. You ain't running every route.
You're not taking it serious.
It's just a real thing. Like,
and that's what bothered me with the because I think I told Jelani on the show, like why the Falcons aren't taking this season serious. If Desmond Ridder's your starting quarterback, then you're not taking
it. Was upsetting all season that they did that.
Yeah, it was just because how many games they lost because if they just had a competent quarterback, they win another 2-3 games.
Yeah,
they win the division. And
sometimes I think it would have been better off to not have a quarterback. Sometimes I think they went backwards with the quarterback.
They went backwards
because then the play calling got
useless.
Then the play calling got terrible too. Just needed competent play both at play calling position and the quarterback position, like you said. And literally 7 and 10 easily could have been 13 win game. I think easily because there was games like the defense held teams to like 20 something points. And really could have been less, like you said, if just had competent quarterback play. Like Ridder had a game where he fumbled the ball 3 times, and we somehow still squeaked it out. Like, and three of them were all in the red zone. So it's like,
but there's another one there because Cincinnati. We had that season to where we anointed the Cincinnati Bearcats. We had to send them to the playoffs. We had to act like they were great. We had to act like Ridder, like. What was it like? Come on, if you're an NFL GM, you can't watch the Cincinnati Bearcats and be like, "Yeah, that's my quarterback." Like that was a madness. What a mistake that entire season was to believe in Cincinnati. It not only cost
when teams draft their franchise quarterback in the 3rd round, I question what it is.
I'm like, yeah, well,
or
when you draft Kenny Pickett. What if you draft Kenny Pickett in the 1st round? What if you draft Kenny Pickett or Mac Jones in the 1st round? That's dumb.
Like everything needs to be perfect for a 3rd round pick to like the Cowboys did with Dak. Everything has to be perfect for that.
But they didn't even
the
draft him
Falcons
as
to be like Desmond Ritter
as
They
a
didn't
third
draft him in
guy.
the fourth.
They didn't draft Dak planning on him playing at all.
Playing at all, yeah.
They
Yeah,
drafted
Romo
but
was
at
still
least
there.
you had everything. The structure was there because you got
Facts, that's
Tony
true.
Romo and you were expected to go to Super Bowl. So like everything was there. The Falcons the last 2 years were not going
nothing there.
built the team to go to Super Bowl, and you have the third round quarterback.
We barely had a team. Like
It doesn't make sense. And I've told you, there's no point of drafting a quarterback third because you have no shot. You have no shot unless you turn into Dak Prescott right away. Because if Dak Prescott was
But you
not
gotta
good
at
that first
least
year,
have
you would
the
have no
skill
shot.
set.
So what are you
Here's
doing?
the thing in college, though. I watched Dak
at least
Prescott
have the
play.
skill set.
He had a skill set. I watched Ritter play. I'm like, good college quarterback. And there's several
Mhm.
coming out this year. Everybody's like, they're going to be 6 first-round quarterbacks. I'm like, yeah,
It's
5 of them are
disgusting.
terrible.
They're like
5 of them are
like
going to
32.
suck.
They're like 32. They're my age already, and they're already. We're gonna have
It's
25-year-old quarterbacks in year
It's
two.
crazy,
like,
man.
They better
Like,
be good right away. See,
Yeah,
I don't mind. I don't mind you drafting a quarterback. Like you're gonna draft a 24-year, but they need to be good like right away. Like,
Like Joe
they-
Burrow.
it's just same thing with like
Yeah.
college basketball players in like 4 years. Like it's good to have them, but they like Jaime Jaquez for the Heat. He needed to be ready to play right away. If he's not, then it's like, oh man, he's 23, man, and he ain't getting a run. That's a little question. And that's the same thing with quarterbacks. Like you're 24, yeah, it's cool. You be a first round pick, but you better be good by week 10. We better know because else it's like, oh, we just wasted a pick.
Here's what I need. Like, I know this isn't a draft show, but here's my thing about quarterbacks, and I keep saying this, and it keeps coming up with McCarthy, with any of these guys. Just show me the tape that one game you played like an NFL player. Like you made the throws, you made like CJ Stroud last year. We had a couple games to where we're like, damn, that was different.
And
And Dak Prescott was the same way.
Yeah.
That's what I'm like. Just show me the one game to where, like, I don't care how bad he
Mahomes
was.
versus Oklahoma when he played Baker Mayfield. That was the game.
Exactly.
Everyone was like, oh.
And even
he's
Mayfield had the games
Even
where I'm like,
Baker,
oh,
yeah.
okay. Quinn Ewers already. I've seen Quinn Ewers play like an NFL quarterback at least 2 or 3 times already. I don't know how good he's going to be, but I know he can. He can be an NFL quarterback. Some of these dudes, I'm like, what did you see that this guy threw you out of a game? Like, it just, I don't get it. And then, but thing is, once they get in the system, then they just keep making money. And like they get entrenched in there. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's just I don't understand these teams and the homework they do and what they're thinking with quarterbacks.
Because everybody, Jeff, we talk about it all the time. Everybody they don't want to be the team where the Falcons are desperate. They're desperate. So
Yeah.
they're like, Cousins, $100 million.
They put themselves in the worst situation in a 2-year span.
Exactly.
It's really
When you
crazy.
put yourself in a situation with no
Because of the
quarterback,
quarterback
you're
stuff.
desperate, and you throw crazy money at Kirk, who's coming off an Achilles. So I mean, the receivers are must love it because they know Kirk's gonna throw that thing, and he's gonna be a fantasy darling and all that.
Yeah.
At
Fantasy
least somewhere in
football
the
players gonna love him,
vicinity
but
for them to catch the ball.
when you're desperate, but you know what? We'll see what happens with the Falcons. And like I said, you just got to get in the playoffs. You get in, that's a winnable division. We know that. Very winnable division. So just get in and then we'll see what happens and all that. But,
So what about I don't think we dug enough into, like, Chris, like, you watched probably every snap of Barkley's career. Y'all know how I feel about what a missed draft that was because they weren't ready for Barkley. They've wasted his, 6 years of his career.
There was
whatever
worse
it's
what the
been.
Giants did than what the Falcons are doing. We're like, well, they're
Complete mistake, complete waste of the career.
They messed up the Eli stuff the year before with playing Gene, right? Because that's like what McAdoo got fired for because he benched Eli
That's
for
right.
Geno and all that. And then they're like, you know what? And then Mara, because he's so loyal, he's like, we got one more year for Eli and all that. And it was like, no, we have the number 2 pick. Take a quarterback. Take a quarterback. Even if we had took Sam Darnold, but at least we said, all right, we took Sam. It didn't work out. Boom, we tried. We went that direction. We took a running back with the 2nd pick, thinking that we were ready. And guess what happened? We were worse. So like this is why this is sour taste in my mouth because he probably was the best player in that draft. Talent-wise, maybe the best player in that draft. But we talk about this, the value. You had the number 2 pick, an opportunity to take a quarterback. And there was a bunch, right? There was a bunch of guys, and regardless if you got it right or if you pick Josh Allen, you pick Darnold or Rosen, whatever. At least that's the direction you should have went no matter what. No matter what. You could have took Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb has more production being the 2nd round pick than Saquon does. Saquon is a hit or miss. He's literally a 3-point specialist. He's going to hit a 3 or nothing. That's really what he was. His first game against Jacksonville, negative yards, then bust out that 50, 60-yard touchdown. Everyone saw, oh my God, what a great – he didn't really have a great game, but that's just been the whole career. 3.9 yards per carry last year. Singletary, who we just got for $6 million as a replacement, in less games, because Singletary didn't take off till like week 6. He had better stats than Saquon. So it's like they have set back the franchise with terrible decisions. And that was the start. That was the start of setting back the franchise.
Does Saquon? What to say on the Eagles side of it? Was that a good decision by the Eagles to go get Saquon?
Yes, take it from your division rivals. Yes, that's a great
move.
It was.
I'm just.
It was a great move.
It was a really good move.
Yeah.
I think it was a great move because Saquon. He's going to be behind a better offensive line. They're still older and all, and they don't have the great center Kelsey anymore, but they still have a offense that is functional because we have not had a functional offense in a while. So he's going to be a part of that. He's going to help out. And listen, if you can take one of the best players from your division or rivals,
that's fair.
Too.
A friend of mine at work, who's an Eagles fan, brought up a good point. You know, obviously when you watch a team more, and he's like that, like really with his receiving abilities, which don't even get me started. I know running backs, receivers now. I can't even go down this road of where running backs are now. But he's like, that gives Hurts an outlet. Like Saquon might catch 75 balls next year just to take, because Hurts digressed a little bit last year with decision making and in the defense, because it's just the league caught up with him. It's just having game tape on him. He'll probably adjust, but like there was a lot of times where he was rolling out of the pocket with nowhere to go. A little confused by some of the zones and stuff as to where maybe he just dumps it off to Saquon and like, I'll just take 7 yards, or maybe like Chris said, he'll break one. So like, it seems like the receiving ability, I would imagine Swift could do that, but I don't know.
Not to the level I'd say.
Saquon is definitely better.
Saquon is up there with McCaffrey as far as
that's what I'm
he was doing it with Danny DeVito. He was doing it with Danny Dimes. Like he was doing.
I want Danny DeVito to be the next Giants quarterback.
Please.
You know, so
4
but
foot
it does suck
that Danny DeVito.
It does suck that Saquon left. Like it's because it's kind of like. We didn't give him the
what's with the whole Tiki thing too?
Oh, Tiki's been a hater for Saquon for a minute. Yeah, so Tiki Barber went on like he went on the fan and on the afternoon drive and said like you're dead to me because he went to the and so I didn't listen to it, so I don't know I don't know if it was jokingly, but I got mixed. People said, yeah, I think he was serious. People like, no, I think he was joking. But Tiki's always been low key a Giants hater, which is weird because, but he's hated on Eli, he's hated on him, so that's why he got booed when he came last time. To like, I think he got in the Ring of Honor, he got booed. And he got it's Strahan got beef like Dale. He got beef for every person. No, but it's New York radio too, so they kind of how personalities are, especially in New York radio. They actually because you do it because the fan has definitely fell off. But yeah, he just haterish and all. But it sucks Saquon left. It sucks he went to the Eagles, but it is what it is at this point. Now we have to move on, build, and
can we talk about that real quick? We ain't even got to talk about it. I just want to say, fans got to stop. I'm gonna tell you, fans got to stop. They got to stop, and it pisses me off because as a fan, what you got to realize, hey man, these players don't care about the division rivalries the way you think. Go elsewhere, you think Saquon really like Saquon did not think about how much he hate the Eagles before. I hate the Eagles when I play for the Giants, but guess what? Like at the same time, they care about these division rivalries, but money matters in too. So in today's world, they all work out together. So y'all think they hate the Eagles with playing for the Giants? Y'all think these players on Sundays it gets like that, and they know they gotta put on the show and get the hate, so it gets a little. And it's football at the end of the day. I
think they all hate Dak Prescott though.
Probably. But they don't. At the end of the day, fans care more about Saquon Barkley leaving the Giants and going to the Eagles. And I'm not just talking about Giants fans. I'm talking about fans, period. And think that he went to a rivalry. He's a traitor. Like You do know this is
I don't
professional.
think a lot of I think Giants fans are more mad that they didn't trade him last year.
Fans
Didn't get any picks for him.
like, it's fans period of bringing
And
up
McKinney too.
just Saquon. It's not just Saquon. It's anybody when they go to the division rivalry. No, oh, so you're just gonna switch? Like they really don't care about that. Like they didn't. That was not a thought.
Yeah, you take the money. Hey, good for Saquon. If that was
I
the
don't
best
know, man. I
he
heard-
got, good for him.
I've been told lately Jason Kelsey cares more about football than any human that ever lived.
Any human.
Wait, all I saw on TikTok, every football account was Kelsey. Oh my God, Kelsey this. I'm like,
I can't believe
we've
Jason
never
Kelsey
cared about an
tried.
offensive lineman more than we've cared about Jason. Have you ever heard of an offensive lineman people cared about more than Jason Kelsey?
No.
It's
No.
it's absurd. It got too crazy. Like the Taylor Swift is not behind us. Like it's like Jesse.
Yeah,
enough.
but I
Come on.
mean, you got to take into
Until they break
consideration.
up.
He's just here's what's funny. Okay. Let's do this real quick. Here's what's funny about Jason Kelsey. It's weird how when you look and act a certain way, then nobody cares that you're rich. But like if you look and act a certain way and you're a rich athlete and you do some dumb shit in the crowd, then everybody's like classic, like spoiled brat. Like make the same like they bring up the money thing on every athlete they hate. Jason Kelsey, like, he's just one of us. Man, he ain't one of you. This dude is rich as hell. Got a Super Bowl ring. He making millions off a podcast. He lives in a big ass mansion that you ain't allowed to visit. Like he ain't no different than any other athlete, except you think he is because he's big and lumbering white dude. But y'all think he's one of you.
Like a shotgun, a few beers.
It's crazy how the
oh,
media
yeah.
picks. They pick who they want to be like the like you said, the big bubble, the face of America. It's crazy how they pick who they want, and they pick Kelsey.
It sure is.
And now he's gonna be listen, he might have a Hall of Fame resume and all that.
Yeah.
I don't know offensive line numbers like that. He could be, could be not. But the media is going to push him first ballot like crazy, unlike any other offensive lineman in the history of offensive lineman.
Wrap.
He's gonna be a first ballot, and we're gonna be like, really?
They're gonna love his speech. They're gonna.
Who's the center for the Mo? Who's your center that retired? The Cowboys center. You don't know the Cowboys? Frederick? What was his name? Oh, Mo, you don't even know his damn team.
See, nobody knows.
So maybe that makes my point.
I don't know who the Dolphins center was this year.
I know
center that the Cowboys
and I know my left tackle. I know
Zach Martin and Tyron
I know my left tackle.
But how do you not know him? He was like your core. He was a center, Frederick something. But he was like an 8-time Pro Bowler.
And you talking about the white dude?
The white dude. All right. So you said
you talking about Jason
red hair?
Witten.
Yeah. The red hair center.
Facial hair. I know who you're talking about.
Somebody was talking about like, his resume is probably
it's all right, Mo.
Like,
we all look
10
alike.
times better than Kelsey, and yet nobody talks about bro, and like Kelsey's gonna be his first ballot and all that.
It's
so
crazy,
it's
man.
crazy.
It's
But
crazy.
It's
But
wild.
let like Aaron Donald go buck wild in the crowd. There'll be a riot. There'll be a riot.
Speaking of, did you guys see the LSU South Carolina and what happened at the end of that game?
A little bit. I'm still a little confused.
You saw bro came out of the stands and all that.
Yeah, that was Flage's brother.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It was just crazy how like that happened and all that, and it was like a little chippy. And people were mad at Angel Reese, and she wasn't even part of the melee.
Yeah,
nothing to do with it.
They was mad she didn't jump in.
They were mad she could jump, because she gets suspended for the first round of the game, and them have a chance to not win a national championship again. I'm like,
here's the thing about that.
We're mad at her because people just hate her for some reason. It's just
for some reason. Yeah, I gotta guess.
Yeah.
Come on. We all know. But what I'm saying is,
but Jeff, where you go, Mo?
Here's the thing about that. When we're talking,
take care of the kids, Mo.
Yeah, real quick. My bad. I gotta put the kids to bed.
Mo, it's great to see you, man.
Yep. I'll holler at y'all.
You bring it as usual.
We got 130.
Here's what I'm saying about that.
Shout out to everybody watching right now.
Oh yeah.
And it goes back. This goes back to court storming, and this goes back to that situation. When it comes to like a punch being thrown on someone on the court, that ain't Angel Reese. Like this ain't 1980s NBA. Like these are
everybody
young
wants
people.
So bad.
Angel, that's a security situation. Like I'm not saying like anybody needs to arrest
her. There's a cop right there too.
She had just hurt her ankle too.
Yeah. When you're talking about swinging, like, but that's funny that you guys bring this up because I've been talking about this all week, and this drives me nuts. 2 weeks ago, there's a hockey fight, and I'm watching it. Right, it's like it's on Sports Center or whatever, and these dudes are hitting each other in the face as hard as they can, 12 to 13 times. And the ref stood there and watched, and I'm like, why don't they care about CTE in hockey? If the night before,
imagine them doing that in the NBA. Oh my god!
The night before was when Jimmy Butler got in the Heat, and I can't
they got
remember
into the scuffle with.
They got into the scuffle. They threw like 10 dudes out for a day because of a scuffle.
New Orleans, right?
Yeah,
it was New Orleans. Yeah. Because
next night hockey, the dude got hit. Dude got hit so many times. He was supposed to go to the penalty box. The ref had to send him to see a doctor, and yet he came back and played. And everybody's laughing. I'm like, I'm like, what are we doing here? I'm like, we're talking about
major. Thing you do for ratings, though, Jeff.
Could you imagine? Imagine the other night, Jokic and Tatum get into it, and they hit each other 15 times in the face. They would have cleared the arena. They would have stopped the NBA season if something like that happens. It's the wildest thing. But anyway, the whole thing with this Angel Reese thing, like, man, you can't. Why would she's not going to start in a riot? Like, what is happening here? Like pushing.
Well, she's not allowed to leave the bench because she should get suspended, and then she'll miss the first.
Saying. Like, it's crazy.
That was the SEC championship. So the next game is the first round of the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, and a bunch of kids are missing it. A bunch of them are missing it. But my whole point is, like, that's beyond like helping a teammate out. That's like you need, like, security needs to step in and be like you hitting somebody in a handshake line is different than like on the court.
I hate handshake lines too, by the way.
I've heard that. I would never play at enough level to like know the difference. Except
imagine having to shake. You just lost on a buzzer beater, and now we have to go on a line and have to shake or an intense game where it's physical. And like you guys are going back and you're chirping, and you're pushing and all that, and now we got to shake hands.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna look at.
That's literally just reminded me the UNC Duke game. Like after the game, the UNC player they was taunting the crazies or whatever, and literally afterwards they showed them going to shake hands in the line. I'm just like,
I can't shake.
At that point, what was the point? Yeah, it was like, what's the point? Like they're throwing water at them and everything. Like, why would I go and shake hands after?
Like, why am I shaking hands? They're throwing water bottles. They're cussing me out. Man, fuck
I'm gonna go shake the hands of.
Seriously, like I don't know. The handshake line. I have a lot of rules in college basketball. We need to change and all that. Stuff, and that's just in general. Like,
and the thing is,
I get sportsmanship. I get it, but I don't want to shake that. We just lost on a buzzer beat, or we lost by 50. I ain't. Man,
see, here's what I figure
out. What happened?
I think the answer is here's the thing about sportsmanship. All it should be is, when you're on the court playing, you do everything like by the book. Like no matter how mad you get, there's no like tripping, cheating or whatever. But after the game, you don't owe anybody a handshake. And if you want to, that's fine. I think it should be more like the NFL. If two guys just battled it out, but they're best friends,
like
go
NBA
out and have a handshake.
But
if you don't meet in the middle of the court,
everybody
go in the locker rooms if they want.
But like, if you don't want to talk to somebody, just leave. That's fine. Also, like it's no like I never had a problem with the whole. It's been 40 years now. Pistons walking off the floor when the Bulls finally beat them in the playoffs. Got no problem with it. They had a bad day and they was out. Like they didn't know anybody handshake. Michael Jordan didn't want to shake
his little brother.
Can you imagine what MJ would have said in that line? There'd have been a fight.
Imagine a handshake line in the NBA Finals. Like imagine doing that, like Warrior shaking like LeBron's hand after 3-1. Yeah, like come on now.
Yeah, I'm about to say it's just kind of like what Jeff said. It's like it's weird because each sport has its own nuance because like they will like focus in on somebody leaves the bench early. Like I think LeBron did a few times. He'll leave the bench early for a game and they like follow him all the way through the locker room and they'll talk about the whole next 2 days before the next game. Just like
they did that with Brady.
What's the point? Yeah,
they did that with Brady.
I was about to say they rarely do it in football, but like you said with Brady, yeah,
they did it with Brady. They criminalized him, and meanwhile he wanted the moment alone with Nick Foles in the tunnel. That's when they were talking. So I'm like, criminalized Tom Brady and all that because he just lost. I mean, that's a big loss.
Honestly, I think
a loser. Yeah, but no, he's waiting for that right moment.
Yeah, I think all the stuff outside of the game is like basically players can do whatever they want, and it's none of my business. Yeah. Like I don't care.
If they
whatever happens outside. play the game, the best you can. To me, that's sportsmanship. Play it hard and do whatever.
I've always been with you, Jeff, on that. With everything,
and then once it's over, you do what you want.
Respect the game in the game. But after that, hey, you don't want to. I'm cool with that, man. If I'm a coach, I'd be more mad if we lost by 20. I'd be like, yo, what are we doing? Like stuff. I don't know. I know that's not the way we're supposed to think, that's not the way we're supposed to. But I don't know. I tend to look at.
But I'm with you, Chris. It's not right. It's not right for whoever's broadcasting the game either to be like, oh, so and so. Like, you have no idea what's going on. You don't know anything about those people. You don't know what they're saying. To project, the feelings and all that stuff, like that's not right either. Like, just I know that's just me though. Like, I don't really care about the post game stuff or whatever. Guys want to, genuinely guys want to get together that are friends. That's great. Because a lot of these guys, like you guys been in the system. Like, these guys might have played basketball or football together since they were 12.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and then some of them might hate some of them might legit not like each other. And that's fine too.
Yeah, he took my scholarship. Like, this stuff like that.
Because I'm telling you what, as a fan, when like there is no like handshaking, there is no fun bets made with me and like a Michigan fan. Ain't none of that shit.
That's not shaking a Michigan fan. Like,
never.
Like, I don't congratulate them after they win. I don't say anything after we win. Like, there's none of that. We don't bet a T-shirt on it. None of that shit. Like, I want to talk to you. I want to talk about it. I don't want to celebrate with you. I don't want to shake no hands. None of that. And that's just a fan. People in the game, you talking about Duke UNC, like out there. No. That's why we like this game, is because they can't stand each other.
Yeah.
But also, if you're going to sucker punch somebody, just probably don't get in the line. Maybe just go to the locker room. You know what I mean? Like, that's not right.
Don't do it in front of cameras. Like, remember you ever watched Semi-Pro? Wait till the cameras are off. And then they start fighting, and then when TV comes back,
during commercial break,
comes back, everybody's good.
That's actually kind of a good basketball movie, and
that's
funny.
A good basketball movie.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah,
and all that. But I don't know. There's just little things in basketball, like, or just in sports, like stuff like I get, like I said, sportsmanship. I get sports, but to me, it's more in the game. We got to be sports, because if I'm a jerk in the game, but I shake your hand, does that mean I'm a good sportsman? Am I showing sportsmanship? If I'm elbowing people and I'm pushing people and I'm doing all dirty stuff, but I shake your hand on the line, does that make me good? Did that show good sportsmanship? No.
Yeah.
So
that's
like, I don't know.
Yeah, being fake don't change it.
Being fake, I'll show your phone. You're just doing it just to show on the camera and all that. But I don't know. There's just things and all that. But Jelani, we just talked about the Falcons. Let's talk about the Hawks, because I've been wanting to talk to you about
basketball.
What are we doing?
I didn't know we were switching over.
What are we doing, Jelani? What's going on?
Man, I don't really want to.
Sadiq just got right. You still have.
That's what I was about to say. Sadiq just blew out his knee. Just blew out his knee. He walked. It was he tore his a meniscus, I believe. Not meniscus. What did he tear? I forgot what he tore. He tore. He's out for the season. I know. I just know he's out for ACL. That's what it was. He tore his ACL.
What's the direction? Because it seems like, and I remember talking to you about it, and a lot of people. I was like, I like this when you guys beat my Knicks in the playoffs. You guys went to the conference finals. I was like, hey man, this team, this could be a really good team. They got pieces to make moves if they want to pair someone up. What's gone wrong, and what is the direction? Because it feels like it's kind of similar to your Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons, it's kind of like directionless for a little bit. It's like we have talent, but we just nothing's meshing right now, and it's like, oh my god, what's going to? Do we have to blow it up? Do we continue to try to patch it up with Trey because he is our franchise? It's like, what direction should they go? If you were the GM or you're the owner, what direction would you go? Would you think about trading Trae Young, or do you continue to build around him, but knowing that, like, man, it's tough to try to put this together? So talk to me about them.
If I'm a GM, I'm not trading Trae. I don't think he's getting traded either. I love how insiders and certain people like KLC just love to give our best players away, but he's not getting traded, and I don't think he for sure wants to get traded. It's really, the whole thing is what you just said, building around him. They haven't built around him. That's the main thing. They haven't built around him to the capabilities that they're supposed to. They really have sabotaged him since that Eastern Conference Finals run. what they did was they signed guys that played well. The young core, they tried to keep them together. Obviously, Kevin Huerter and John Collins wanted their money, gave them money that, I mean, Huerter's contract at the time wasn't terrible. I mean, a shooter that can play, I would say a shooter that can play defense. Like, I was okay with that. Collins, I was iffy on it, just because it just seemed like there's certain limitations that he had. He wasn't getting any better. Like, he was just what he was.
He was the same.
He just plateaued, yeah. And it's like he wasn't getting it. They basically overvalued guys, but at the same time had to pay him. And then we didn't really add anybody. We didn't do anything. I think that offseason we added like DeLon Wright maybe, and then ended up trading him like later that season. And then
feels like he always gets traded. DeLon Wright always gets traded.
Like, he's a solid player in his role at times, but just always never just found out. He always gets traded. But also another big thing was like at that, and I think that next season was like health. Like, nobody was really healthy. We didn't play guys like Jalen Johnson shouldn't just now be getting minutes. Like, I think because like the year I think after that, so the year after that I think was the COVID year. Like the year after COVID, and I remember
because he got drafted in the COVID year,
yeah, and I remember like that following year, like it would be games like people would, COVID, so like you couldn't play like the next like 2 games or 3 games, something like that, and he would play and he would play well, and then as soon as everybody would be able to be eligible to play again, he wouldn't see the court. So it's like now we're going through the same thing with AJ. I think he had like, I don't know if it was like mental problems or like family things, like, but I don't know what's going on with that situation. Really, nobody does. Like, no one, even like Hawks insiders guys, like no one really knows what's going on. But he's down at Skyhawks now, but I don't know if we're going to see him get played. But it's like same thing with him. When he got play, he played well, and then as soon as people got back, and when Quinn got signed, like his minutes just like vanished. Like I
thought Quinn Snyder was going to take him to another level. To be
exactly
honest.
Same here. So it's like, I don't think anybody in the organization is on the same page at all. Because who's the GM that is with the Wizards now in the front office? Our GM, but they didn't want to trade for Murray. He didn't want to trade for Murray, which is why like he kind of took a back seat, and then eventually he just fizzled out, and they just let him walk. I forgot his name, but he's in the operation. He came from the Warriors. He's in operations with the Wizards now. But basically, nobody's been on the same page since that Eastern Conference run. That's really what it is. Ownership has been sabotaged, and they don't want to pay guys. So every year we're shedding money off the books because he doesn't want to go into the tax. He let his son take over at a point and make basketball decisions. A 27-year-old. Like, that's like, well, I can make better decisions, obviously, but it's like if you just threw me into the front office with like no prior experience, just like it's like he bought the team for his son to just let him make decisions that he had no clue on making. So essentially, no one's been on the same page. No one's built around Trey. It is kind of like everyone seems like they're just winging it. And
are they kind of I mean, I hate to
Travis Schlenk.
I hate to think this about a team, but they're not possibly doing the like what the Clippers did for 2 decades and just basically cashing in on all the TV money, but not spending a bunch of extra money.
No, it's different.
What it really is, Tony Ressler, because what they're doing around the arena, they're about to build basically this whole new project. Like right now, it's basically it's like, I don't know how to describe it, but basically it's like almost underground parking. It's a lot of space that's used like for parking and other things, but they're about to really just transfer the whole downtown area. Like they just still finished building a hotel by Mercedes-Benz Stadium. They're about to build another one on the other side of Mercedes-Benz. So they're basically going to transform the whole thing. I forget what they're calling it, but basically it's going to be like it's going to be a big space where it's like high rises, businesses.
Okay.
It's really a money grab, I think, for them. They're like, it's kind of like what you're saying in a sense, like they're really just doing it for like their real estate property, just building up this area. Like
that's what it feels like. And then one other question, because I don't watch the Hawks a lot, but I do wonder, like as a fan, what is I don't even know, like if you can either tell me like a player that would match or a type of player, what does Trey need? Because he's such a unique talent.
Mm-hmm.
But I can never exactly see what I think he's missing on a team that would make him better. Like what are you like, man, if we could just get blank, it would help.
Honestly, it's like a mixture thing. So like one that we see like the First thing I'll say is a lot of people just get on him about his defense. But if you look at his defensive numbers this year, they've been
the defense. I hate when people bring up the defense.
I would say the defense argument sucks. But this year, if you look at his numbers, I think at a point he was like top 5 or something in steals or something like that. But his defensive numbers have gotten better, so that's really not even an issue. But what I think works best around him is he needs a big that can pick and pop or can get to the basket. We have Clint Capella at the moment who can't finish. Like
I keep thinking Sabonis. Would Sabonis be a guy that would like make
something of that nature, maybe? But like Sabonis, like they run the offense
right now
so much.
Right now, no, not Sabonis.
Yeah, like not right now, but like just someone that he can a competent big that can again pick and pop or finish at the rim, but also like bigger wings. Like we don't really have any wings. Like if you look at our roster, like our wing was DeAndre Hunter, and he's not even available most of the time. But I will give him credit since he's came back from his injury. He's been playing well, but he's also he said he likes to come off the bench now. So it's like now we're paying a bench guy who's supposed to be our starter wing $90 million. We're paying him starter money, and he wants to come off the bench. So it's like he needs wing. Like what? If they would have traded DeJounte, which I kind of still hope they don't, but if they would have traded DeJounte to New Orleans, I would have been perfectly like Trey Murphy. He just burned us yesterday, ridiculously burned us. Like I don't think they're gonna give that, but somebody like if we're not able to get
him and Zion,
he needs wings that can play defense and shoot the ball. Like
that
in a big that can pick and pop and finish at the rim, like that. And I think we have something cooking because I don't
think he's I think he's looked at as a selfish player, but by outsiders. But to me, it seems like more like
I don't get
to
that.
Me. Well, I mean, just like that's what I'm saying. That's what it's looked like because just the way. But I think it's more like, man, I would be happy to pass it all the time if y'all could score. Like at some point,
exactly. That's one of the terrible narratives, and obviously July knows because he watches them. But one of the worst narratives with him is that he's selfish, and it
is a narrative. Yeah.
Like, first of all, I have to be the best scorer because guess what? Who am I passing it to?
He has a lot of pressure on him.
He has nobody else on his team that can create a shot besides DeJounte. That's the only other person.
You need Bogey needs offensive creative for him. All right. Same thing. DeAndre is kind of just a 3-point.
Bogey tries to force himself to create his own shot, and he can't do it.
He did it against the Knicks this year. Was it the Knicks game where he forced like a half-court shot with like 5? It was still like 4 seconds. And it's like, what are you doing? But like the Trey narrative is kind of, and it's crazy to think because I'm a Knicks fan, and this guy, and you would think like every Knicks fan hates, but you know how I am. I don't. That's not how I roll.
You're a basketball.
I look at. I'm a basketball fan. As much as I'm a Knicks fan, basketball fan. But like the narrative around him that he doesn't do this, he's not. It's inefficient and all that. I was like, so what about Allen Iverson? The same thing. But like, and people get mad at Allen Iverson, like, but he was selfish. Like, who was he passing the ball to? Eric Snow, Aaron McKee, Dikembe Mutombo, Aaron Williams.
Why would you pass
real, man? And it's obviously the Hawks have more guys who can score, but they can't create for them. So Trey has to not only does Trey have to be the best scorer, now he has to be the playmaker. So that makes his job 10 times. So that's why I never really get the defensive stuff. Whatever, man. Who cares? To be honest. And he's not even as bad as you think. The defensive metrics show that he's not as bad. Luka's worse, and Luka's 6'9" and all that. So
Luka's actually for his skill set,
a dog.
but for his skill set, his defense doesn't. You know what? I got to say, like Tatum don't play defense like he used to either. Tatum was a good defender when he first came into the league. I'm not saying he
doesn't have to defend anymore like
that. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm not saying he can't be good, but just like possession after possession, like he don't get at it. Neither does Brown. Like not
I was say after Holiday, Brown is the next most willing. Well, him and Derek White. And then Brown maybe.
Derek White and Holiday. Because those guys are taking over essentially like guarding the best players on perimeter.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you let Brown and Tatum do their thing.
But I think Tatum, and again, it's different basketball. He doesn't have to, but I thought he could be like one of the great two-way players of all time. And now he's like a 1.5-way player. That's fine.
What happens? That happens a lot. Like Westbrook. Russell Westbrook came into the league as a defensive. He was supposed to be a defensive stopper, and then obviously it went the other way where there was no defense. But I mean, I guess you know what? We take with that, right? We take his offense, the rebounding and all that over the defense and all that. Because it's like, all right, who really? First of all, you don't get paid to play defense like that. It's not,
I mean, Jokic,
you get $200 million to score the basket.
Jokic the same way. He picks and chooses. Embiid the same way. He picks and chooses.
Exactly. So to finish with the Hawks and all that, it's definitely gonna be a crucial offseason because I don't think they trade.
People getting moved,
but like Murray's gone. But like you said before, guys capped out. Like you thought Hunter would take that next step, he didn't quite take that next step. Same thing of Bogey. Like Bogey, you thought, okay, man, Bogey's on his. Like he's kind of just the same player. Like he has moments where he can take over.
He's great in his role. Like right now, he has to start. Like we literally have. I don't even know who's finna start tomorrow when they have to, or Wednesday when they have to play the Trailblazers. Like we have like 5-6 guys hurt, and they also don't play their rookies or second-year guys.
Oh, yeah, Kobe Buffkin. You know me. I had Kobe Buffkin in the top 10 pick and all that. Like, he was my guy.
Bro, when he plays, he's a solid piece. I can see it, but then, like, he got hurt. But, like, early on, he was hurt, and then when he was eligible to play, he was balling out in Skyhawks, and they didn't call him up until, like, they had to because Trey got hurt. And then even now, they sometimes play Trent Forrest, which I don't know why the hell we signed him back. They play him in front of Kobe sometimes. But now I think Kobe got a big toe strain. Like, we got 2 guys out with a big toe strain. It's like
it's a tough time of the year for like some of these are nasty times for some of these teams that are banged up. And
I'm about to say a lot of people are.
Look, the Knicks, we had one game where we only got like 7 guys playing.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's
but that the game Jalen got hurt.
We scored 70. What we scored 73 points yesterday against there was no Maxey, no Embiid. Like we scored 73 points in an NBA basketball game. Like nastiest game. I only watched some of it because it was just too bad for my eyes. I was like, no.
I guess my question will be, and there's nobody knows the answer except for the people doing is if the Hawks are serious. Like that, nobody knows what really happens in those boardrooms.
I think they're serious. I just think it's these.
Sometimes
GMs.
I do, and then sometimes I'm like,
yeah, like our GM's Landry Fields now, and I don't know. I respect what they've done, and since they didn't like the Travis Slang thing. Like I said, he didn't want DeJounte. He didn't want to give up what they gave up for him, and I was on the same boat, on the same trend at the time as well. So then once that happened, then they kind of like overrated. Like he
kitchen, Jeff. Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Too many. Everybody wants to hand in something. They pay guys to do a certain job, and they don't let them do their job. That's
the GM. A lot of these GMs, you said, Travis Schlenk. Like you said, he didn't want DeJounte, but he got overruled, and guess what? The team got worse.
Yep.
So there's too many cooks in the kitchen, and an NBA one move can all you take is a bad trade, and now your franchise is set back years. It's not like football; you can kind of overcome it. You take the tackle, and it's like, man, we should have took the end. You can overcome that by making drafting better at the second round. Yeah. The NBA, you only have there's 2 rounds, and there's only so many spots and all that. And it's one move can mess up everything.
The other side of that, what I would say is we thought this basically 12 months ago about Minnesota, and now everything's sunshine and rainbows. And we thought that was one of the worst free agent signings in history, which it still might be. But as of this second, they're doing great.
Because I think a lot of people were mad because it kind of reset the trade market. Like, what are y'all doing? Now we got to trade 3 first with DeJounte Murray or 4 first-round picks to get this guy. You just messed up everything.
You just get everybody on the same page, get the right things, good things happen.
Yeah, but I think they're a serious franchise, and I think
I would say the same thing about my team. I would say the same thing about the Bulls. Like they literally have no rudder.
Listen, Jeff, they're trying.
Yeah, but
the fact that the Bulls are
being tied to Levine.
They're the 9th seed. Yeah.
They're the 9th seed. Kobe White's playing good basketball. Like I thought, you would think they would be watching.
Kobe White.
They're only 2 games under 500.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. No, they're still rudderless. Like that's fine.
Yeah,
but
no,
they're
still stuck in neutral.
What's the next year look like? What's the next?
Yeah, no, 100%. But it could be a lot. It could be Washington Wizards, where your direction, you're truly, Jelani,
truly directionless.
like the Pistons are. The Pistons are obviously they had their 98 game losing streak, whatever they had, but at least they have a direction. They got young guys that they're trying to build.
I would
around,
agree.
right?
Mhm.
Portland too. I think Portland too.
The Spurs have Victor Wembanyama, so nothing else matters. Like it doesn't matter. It's all about how he develops because the better he gets, they'll be better if they couple little pieces. But he is that's the piece, right? So that doesn't really matter. Portland, they got some things. There's still a little thing. But
at least they got a team.
They have a team. The Washington Wizards that is
Wizards
the worst out of all the. There's how many? There's 32 football teams. There's 30 NBA teams. I don't know how. Baseball, whatever. But the football, there's 62 jobs. That is the worst job out of the
NFL. And we say that
NBA, that is the worst job.
And the Wizards
I'd rather have
just
a Panthers job.
Panthers job over Wizards job.
At least in football, you build offensive line. All right, and if you think of quarterbacks, then you can get away with we messed up on the draft and we don't have. In the NBA, you keep drafting bad players, and you got Jordan Poole.
You can't be based on Jordan Poole. That's what, and yet they keep winning. They keep upset.
Kyle Kuzma said, it must suck to be where Detroit is. Guess where you're at? You're with the Detroit. Same record as Detroit.
I was about to say it might be worse now. Does Detroit got one more win? Yeah, I think Detroit got one more win than them.
At least Detroit
is in bad shape,
and they're moving.
And especially, and
who goes to Virginia?
And nobody. They don't have a. And here's the thing: I don't know if this draft has a lock of like franchise players.
So they're gonna get Jelani. They're gonna get the number one pick this year.
Yeah.
And then next year they'll get like 6 when like the top 5 is supposed to be like generational like franchise level players. This year they'll get number 1.
2025's draft is supposed to be legit. And I said, and you said they're gonna get. That's how it always happens. You get the number 1 pick on the year that like it really doesn't matter.
You go get Anthony Bennett. They're gonna draft Anthony Bennett.
I'm actually doing a podcast around that, and like,
but that's another one of those things that I'm saying. We all knew that was a bad pick. We all knew it was a bad pick, and we were right.
That was no
draft. Yeah, I was about to say it was a bad draft.
Other than Giannis saved that draft.
And we were supposed to have Giannis too.
Giannis was a good
for us. Yeah, I was supposed to have Giannis.
We were supposed to have. I forgot the story, but it was basically somebody got insight that we were gonna pick him if he slid like 2 more. Because I think we were 2 more spots after where he got drafted, and somehow somebody got word, and then like
is that Alex Len?
No, we didn't.
Alex Len was top 5. He was a top 5.
Yeah, but I say I think he got drafted by. Did he get drafted by the Kings? I don't know who he got drafted by, but I just know he went 2 picks before we were supposed to get him, or 3 picks before we were supposed to get him. Somebody got intel that was going to get him, and then Milwaukee snatched him up. It was like, well.
It's crazy, right? Those stuff like that can change your franchise.
But I will say this about. I'll say this about
it's crazy, Giannis, like that happens. Like
Giannis,
like what if
needed develop? Like if he goes to the wrong team.
Like what if Curry was 1 more pick away to be in the Knicks? Like what is Steph Curry? So like there's so many things. Then there's so many. I don't want to go through it. I want to get.
I'm gonna say Steph Curry was going to be the best player in any team's history,
except for Minnesota because they passed on him twice.
Facts.
Passed on him twice. Like they don't.
Rubio and Flynn.
Yeah. Oh, you guys took. You guys took.
I ain't gonna lie. I thought Johnny Flynn was going to be good. I'm so upset that I thought that. I got caught up in. I got caught up in the tournament, and I was like, "Man, nah."
That's what gets you in tournaments.
That's what gets people in the NBA draft. In the NBA
guilty
draft,
as charged. Guilty as charged.
That's like the combine, essentially. Like
I'm good. I'm good at seeing NFL talent. I'm terrible at basketball talent. I thought, what's the cat from Kansas? I think he went to the. I think.
I know you're talking about
Gilchrist.
Oh, Michael.
No, Mike.
I thought you was about to say what you call it.
I thought Gilchrist was Kansas. Was he Kentucky?
No, Gilchrist was Kentucky. Jackson was Kentucky or Kansas. Yeah. Justin, not Justin Jackson. Whatever his name, something Jackson.
Yeah,
Justin Gilchrist, Carolina. Gilchrist. I'm like, that's the steal of the draft.
Whoever went to Kansas and was like top 4. Yeah, I think the Suns drafted him, and then like 2 years later he was gone.
Yeah, I'm terrible. I'm terrible. I can recognize when somebody's going to be bad, but I'm terrible.
That's the one thing I learned from covering the draft. Like, don't fall in love with players during during the
Yep.
tournament.
Guilty
That's-
as charged.
And cause like what's his face from the dude on Miller on Charlotte. He had a
Brandon Miller.
bad tournament, especially the last game. He didn't shoot the ball well.
Yep. Last game.
People are like, oh man, and people are like, no, do not fall in.
Well,
do not let
some
this,
of
do not let that. Other than the
some of
stuff that
his
went
was
off
like-
the court,
I
I
think
know
some
you
of
get the
that had to
off-the-court
affect.
stuff.
Mhm.
The off the court stuff I get, but like the actual people are like, oh man, see, this is why I don't think he's gonna be great, and then he's balling out. with
Well, I
Charlotte
said that
right now.
too. Like all season, I'm like, man, this kid is legit. And then the tournament, I was like, maybe I'm wrong. And I'm like, I don't know, because I don't have to know. I was like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
but like remember the spacing. It's
You know who I
condensed
was right
even
about?
more.
Reggie Jackson. I love that dude. And I was right about Reggie Jackson.
Reggie Jack, the baseball player or the basketball
No,
player?
the basketball player.
Oh, I was thinking Reggie. I'm thinking 42, 44.
Nah, man. Reggie, I
Mr.
watched him in college
October,
and I
I'm
was like,
like,
he was so
Jeff
fun
was
to watch.
around back then.
Right. I don't know if I saw Reggie play baseball. I might have been right at the end. But I
People,
remember watching
Jeff,
Reggie Jackson play
people
basketball.
would hate
and-
Reggie Jackson today. Tell me not.
Oh,
They would not hate
my
Reggie Jackson today.
goodness.
They would
Oh my
despise him.
goodness. Yeah.
Him and Ricky Henderson, they would despise.
Ricky, and I love Ricky Henderson, but yes.
They would
Yes.
despise him, but
And they
Yeah,
would
so-
love him at the same time. I don't even know.
it's one of those weird things. Right? It'd be a love-hate relationship.
Man, baseball fans don't like anybody.
They don't like.
True.
If you
You got
Hey,
to stick to the traditions, and if you
Kirby-
don't,
all I
then
heard people
Yeah.
when they had the World Baseball Classic and all the Hispanics are doing all the throwing that, doing all the
Yeah.
oh
Hate it.
the hate I saw on Facebook.
Terrible. It's baseball fans.
Like,
Great,
back
man.
flipping in the because you know how Hispanics are. They take and
Yeah,
now
it's
you have
great,
a bunch,
but it's
now you
fun,
have
man.
them
When
all
you
together. Read the World Baseball Classic.
when
Say
they play that
baseball.
tournament, they play the
That was
tournament down in South America. I can't remember what it's.
Caribbean World Series, yeah, the Caribbean. Oh,
Yeah,
Caribbean
Caribbean
World
It's
Series.
awesome. Japan, man, they have cheerleaders. They have a great time.
Yeah, we
Not
could do a whole
America.
thing about how to save baseball because it's bad. But the final thing before we go off, what's on your mind? What's grinding your gears? Jelani, you're our guest. What's on your mind? What's grinding your gears?
good
Besides the
one,
Hawks,
dang.
besides Atlanta space.
Nah, that's it's whatever. That's gonna grind my gears every day, regardless. Anyway,
Anything.
I will say, I guess two things. One thing is, and he's my boy, and I hope the Hoopers probably don't see this. But Anthony Edwards, I did see like the comments last night about the free throws thing. Well, it's not just him. I'm getting tired of everybody talking about the disparity with free throws with the Lakers. Every time they play the Lakers after the game, they keep talking about it in the post game. It's like, all right, I understand it, I get it. Like, there's a big disparity. They are shooting a little bit more free throws than most teams that they do play against. But also, too, there's the guys that typically like are having the ball, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, even Austin Reeves, they're getting to the basket. Like, it's like they're not just shooting outside shots. Like, I literally saw him in crunch time. I mean, yeah, just hit one, but pull up for a fast break three. Like, you're not getting fouled on that. Like, of course, there's going to be a disparity when there's certain guys that's taking the ball to the goal and you're shooting outside 3 yards, pass. Everybody's shooting threes. Like, so they don't he keeps complaining about little stuff here and there, even like the little stuff with Shy. Like a month or so ago about like they call the game differently for him than for Ant, and then it was something else that he said. But it's just like cool and it's funny, but at the same time, like I guess it's like getting overshadowed a little bit because he's hooping and he's going out there, he's doing certain things that he's putting Minnesota on his back at least now at this point too. Like with Ant or Karl Anthony Towns out and then Rudy Gobert in and out of the lineup as well. But it's like
MVP push.
Yeah. I don't know. Like it would be crazy if he did.
Yeah,
like
if
he finished out like this month and then next month and like finishes out and they're the number one seed, I can kind of see it a little bit. But just he's complaining just a little bit too much about little things here and there, and I think it's certain like his shoes overshadowing it. Like I said, his gameplay, his blocks, certain things are kind of overshadowing. Like stop complaining so much, and that don't go for him. That goes for everybody. Like stop complaining about free throw disparities. Like, if you see one team doing something that you're not doing in order to get those free throws, like maybe you should do a little bit more of that to also get the same free throw count. Like it's not rocket science.
I know. Just do that. All right. I don't know. Like you
But I
said,
see
stop
somebody said
complaining.
it earlier, and I seen somebody like retweeting and kind of said it. They was like, "That's not my face of the NBA," and I was like, I had to think about it real quick. I had to go back and look at the video. I was like, I'm not gonna say that, but at the same time, I do see he's complaining a little bit too much because then I started thinking about the past months, these little things he's been saying about other things. So not just him, but stop complaining. And like, you from the West Side, Adamsville, born and raised. We don't complain. We go out there. We do what we're supposed to do in order to put our, we do what we're supposed to do in order to put our name out there, recognition, and just go out there and get the work done. I didn't get it done. Let's come back next game, be better, and do what you gotta do. Simple as that.
Simple as that. And that's my motto. Stop complaining, especially basketball heads. They that's all they do is complain.
Yeah.
Old heads, new heads. Everybody just complains. Your era, this
the basketball space is pretty toxic right now.
It's toxic, especially when we compare. Because I don't think football.
Here's what it is.
Eras like that. They don't diminish eras like the way we do.
It's because the talent level has gotten so great that people can't deal with it. And so they're like, oh, I just got to hate on it. Because if you just watch the game, it's like watching superheroes out there at this point. I mean, they're all tall and athletic and fast and strong. And so all you can do is be like, I hate it. Like because it's become a sport
based off narratives too. Basketball is very narrative. Like some people don't watch it and just go off narratives of what this guy said. Like when I watch most basketball games I watch, I don't go and thinking, man, they're not playing deep or they're not trying and all. I'm thinking, man, that's hard. It's hard to guard Tatum and then have to switch off to Brown.
Precisely, Chris.
And like that's how I mean, maybe it's my mind because I'm a basketball head. Maybe that's how I think, and I'm not a casual like that. But like that's how I think. I'm like, yo, it's hard. Kevin Durant, then I got to go to Booker. Then I got to go to like that's and then Jokic to
don't let Grayson Allen get hot for a game too.
I still got Grayson Allen can cook me. It's like that's how I think about it. I'm not thinking, oh, these guys aren't trying on defense. Like, it's like any other. Like I guarantee I'll look at the '90s basketball. And there's some teams that were not playing any defense, zero defense, and they had worse players on the team.
And here was the difference. I've talked about the show many times. The biggest difference is because back in the 80s and 90s, 3 people on each team on the floor were like, we're not going to shoot. You only had to. I'm not even kidding. Like very
Gilbert Arenas just said this, and everybody hates Gil and thinks it's wrong.
Some of the Nuggets teams, but like even the Bulls teams, like Robin wasn't shooting.
Complete non-shooting. Never.
Weddington wasn't like they got rebounds and they got points, but they weren't shooting. Steve Kershaw, he didn't shoot that much. Like you just had to guard Jordan, and then if he kicked off, you had to guard maybe Pippen. And I'm not saying, and Kukoc really added to it, but I'm saying is like, but I was watching Cavs Celtics the other night, and like Chris said, they pass so fast, and then every guy that grabs the ball can shoot or go to the hoop. I'm like, you can't guard all these people. Like it's just a different sport. So yeah, I know we've beat that horse, but I like when we bring it up every week that just watch the game, people. I promise. Just dig in and watch a game. It's not what you think.
Watch the game with a clear mind. Watch the game. Watch the Knicks versus the Celtics with a clear mind.
And just really watch it. Dig in and watch it. And you're like, oh, this is different.
Take away all the stuff that the media tries to put in your head. Oh, they don't play defense. They don't do this. 70 points. If you watch it with a clear head and you just say, I'm just going to watch the Hawks versus the Dallas Mavericks, and you just watch the game, you're like, oh, wow, Luka. Oh, my God.
Then
that little guy got 30 and 13, 11. Yeah. He's 5 for what? He's 5'11". Yeah. Oh,
and then cue up a YouTube with some 86 NBA games and watch it when there's 10 people standing in the paint. Like it's just it's just different. It's just different. So probably for me this week, I can't get past it. It's like we got to stop. Like I understand. First of all, we got to clear one thing up. College athletes are not getting paid. They are sponsored for their name and likeness. That's what it is. These schools are not paying players. If anything, you want to say they're funneling money from people through their players, that's fine. But players still aren't getting paid by schools. Quit acting like they are. Tired of hearing it. And then quit blaming the players for everything. Like just most recently, they're like, they might have NCAA might do a tournament to where the players get played to win and play the games. And they're like, oh, that's going to cut into March Madness. I don't know what to tell you. You got like 100 years of free basketball and you didn't do anything to help the players out. You can't blame them for taking the money. Right. And the biggest thing is, if that game's better, we'll watch it. Like, I don't know why everybody's so
you're still gonna watch. No matter what.
I don't
even
care,
if you're making $7 million. Guess what? We're watching college basketball. Right. We're watching college football every Saturday.
Right. And so quit blaming the players and quit saying, "Oh, this is or like even some
watching Jerry."
Yeah, even some of the guys on our networks like this. Not what it was intended. It wasn't intended for anything. It's a free market. These guys can make. These guys can make whatever somebody will give them. So quit saying it's not intended for anything. They still ain't getting. And then if you say, "Oh, they're not getting paid," well, they sort of are. Nope, they ain't. Colleges ain't spending a dime on these players yet. There's no revenue sharing yet, and it's coming. But quit blaming the players. Your answer for all this can't be, well, just make them stop making money. That's the oldest trick in the book, and it's dumb. They won. They went through all the legal stuff. They did everything they got to do. These kids at every level have a right to make whatever somebody's willing. If coach don't want to coach them, fine. Is it going to change over the years? Yeah. Are kids going to get burnt? Yeah. Guess what? It's America. They can't be the only people in America that aren't allowed to make any money based on their talent set.
Yeah. This is the only phase of life where college athletes are the only that if they make money, it is a travesty.
Yeah, it's crazy. Travesty. Nobody cared when Taylor Swift was selling millions of records at 17 years old.
The tuba guy could go start a band at 18 years old, make millions.
Child actors. About it. Nobody wanted to take Macaulay Culkin's money after Home Alone.
Star point guard can't get some money, and this I'll piggyback off Jeff. The complaining about the NIL and all this, and the coaches, every coach complaining and bitching. Guys who are making 6, 7, 8, 9, they're highest paid employees in the state. This is ridiculous. I can't do this. Then quit. And do what Chip Kelly did and go take an OC job where you don't have to worry about that. I respect Chip Kelly. He's
I do too. I don't want to deal with this shit. Chip Kelly.
Yeah. I don't want to deal with this. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna step down a position.
Step down a whole position.
The head coach, he got to deal with it, and I just coach. If you just want to coach, be a coordinator, go coach high school football, go coach in the BS, the semi-pros, go coach at the flag football, go do that. Go coach your Pee Wee League.
Yep.
I am tired of guys who are making 6, 7, 8, 9. You are the highest paid employees in your state. Nick Saban, all he does is bitch now. Every time he's on McAfee, this is ridiculous. Bro, I don't feel bad for you. You're going home to your how many houses he got?
Oh my God! He made $100 million off Alabama.
$100 million out of crib and all that. You the highest paid employee in Alabama, the state of Alabama. I don't want to hear you complain. Either you adjust or leave, and you left.
Yep.
Cool.
You left.
All right. Now we get to the next guy. All right, because I am tired of it. Adapt.
Yeah.
For college coaches, don't know how to adapt.
Here's the thing: they're not even paying the players yet.
They're not even.
Yeah.
They're not even paying them yet.
And it's only a couple guys we're talking about that are making the money. Not everybody on the team is making 6 figures. It's a couple guys.
Yeah.
Should there be certain fair? Yeah, okay, they're not different. But they constantly complain about, this is not what it's supposed to. This is not the tradition of college football. But well, guess what? Y'all messed it up. And Jeff, what was the thing you said? If they were just giving these kids $5,000 a month, this has never happened.
Yep. They could have signed
they weren't asking for a lot. Jelani, they weren't asking. Just actually give us include something so I can be able to go out and pay for something.
They get them little stipends and that stipends.
I want a mega. I want to get the large fry. I can't. Or they had they could have figured it out with simple, and guess what they did? The NCAA, the coaches, they all created this, and this is their fault. Now they're bitching. And I can't stand it one bit. I can't stand these rich coaches, and it's not because it is not me. Oh, now
they don't like the kid. They don't like the kids having a say. They don't like the kids having a say.
Shut up and dribble and all that. It's just If you don't like it, guess what? Leave.
Yeah. You know what? That's a new one.
Leave.
Shut up and coach. How about
Shut up and coach? You're making $10 million. It's different from shut up and dribble because they said in a network they're like, oh, like no, it's not shut up. Not the same. It's nowhere close because these kids they weren't making anything.
Yeah,
it's completely different. If these were all, if everybody was making, then I'd be like, all right, it's different. If this is the NBA, whatever, like, all right, no, whatever. But you make it 10, and now you complaining because now the kids are making a little bit, and they're asking about NIL. Oh my god. Okay, so tell them what's up. We can give you this.
Don't bring him in. Be bad.
Then be a bad football. And guess what happens when you lose? When you're winning 7 games, guess what? When you get fired, don't. Oh man, you know what? Maybe when he did actually, I should have told me. Yeah, we got some. We got some. Because that's what you're based off, right? You're based off wins and losses, all right. So stop complaining. You want to be the morality, because guess what? Being moral and all that, and winning 6 games, guess what that gets you? It gets you fired.
Get you fired.
Get you fired. So shut up, learn, adapt, or go do what Chip Kelly did and go be OC. It's either that. I'm tired of these coaches complaining. Stop complaining. College, all these college back. Guess what? Roy Williams, Coach K. You know all these. They couldn't take it. They left. They took all their money that they made, the millions and millions and millions that they had no problem making. But they want to. Even I love Coach K. Coach K, I think, is the GOAT. He complains too much. Shut up. Stop it. Adapt. That's why they got Coach Shy in it, because he's 30 and he can handle that. That's why you can see more new coaches adapt. Because they have no problem. Like, oh, I'm coaching. I got a coaching gig. All right, what's the rules? All right, cool. We just follow it because I want to be a coach. I don't. These old complain. Shut up. Just shut up. You make it $10 million. Adapt and figure it out.
I like it.
Adapt and figure it out. I said college basketball just too shouldn't be complaining. You got to get 2 players and then you could be an NCAA tournament team. You get 2 players.
You got 2 players.
You can't do that. Guess what? You're a shitty coach. College football I can get because you got offensive line. I get that. I understand that more. But college basketball, you get 2 guys. You get a portal kid and you get a 5-star, and you could be in the tournament team. You can't do that. Then guess what? You're a terrible coach. So maybe you should be down. Tired of it. Stop complaining. Adapt or do what Chip Kelly did. Go take a pay cut and all that, and you don't have to worry. I just want to coach. Okay, cool, man. You know what you can do? You be an OC.
And we're happy to have
you're a head coach, you are a CEO.
We're happy to have
You're a CEO of that. Oh, that's not. So one person said on the radio, this is not in their job description. It's like, no, that is their job. Their job is the CEO of this football team, of this organization.
And if they don't like it, just leave.
You are the head coach, the owner, the GM, the VP, everything. Okay, so yeah, your job is to adapt to the rules. To hey, they get an NIL. We'll figure it out. How do you handle that? The same way you flip it around in playing time. Like that's the same thing about asking about playing time. You're gonna get mad that I'm asking about playing time. So don't be mad for maxing out. I want money. Yeah, you see where you're at? We're in the freaking projects. Yeah, I'm gonna ask for NIL. We're in the projects. You just came 8 floors up, cockroaches pissing on the thing, and you worried about me asking for a little money? Shut up! But you just came in a limo. Get the hell out of here! Man, shut up! You worried about what? Yeah, I'm asking. You see where we at? I got 8 brothers and sisters. Yeah, I care about NIL. Like, come on now.
But you want to tell me I'm a bad person for wanting to
Nike? I'm not a coachable man because doesn't mean
I'm trying to change my situation. Jesus.
It's like it's like you.
And what's funny? What's funny is, man, ain't nobody got a problem with Caitlin Clark doing it. I'm just saying.
And that's where we.
I don't even have to ask her. Probably just handing it over. Like,
and it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's just crazy.
Like I already got a Nike commercial. Jesus.
Yeah.
But
got me the 8 floors.
The OG3 in the books. Appreciate it. We got a lot of people tuning in. Which I appreciate.
Jelani, thanks for coming on, man. That was awesome. It's good to see you.
I need to do this. Appreciate it.
We had over 150 people tune in live. Appreciate everyone who tuned in.
Appreciate everyone.
And all that. Another OG3 in the books. Passionate. We always end the show passionate. You know,
yes, I like it.
That's why like ending the show, it's on your mind. That's been on my mind for a while. That bothers me. It bothers me. Yeah. It's like, yo, that's why Chip Kelly, like, give that man whatever the assistant coach of the year automatically.
I hope so.
Said, hey, man, I ain't with it. I know Jeff loves it because he's with Ohio State now. But to me, that was like, yeah, I don't want to deal with this NIL. If you don't want to deal, you know what? I'm gonna take a lesser job if I don't have to deal with that.
And actually, Chip Kelly, real quick, Chip Kelly's once the pairs played.
He does too, but he didn't want to deal with all that. And then obviously with the school he's at, there's probably more to it than what happened. than we saw. But like, hey,
I think it's easier. I think it's easier to coach at Ohio State than it is UCLA. I'm not gonna lie to anybody.
Exactly.
You know what?
Exactly.
Guess what? It don't bother me a bit.
You don't got to worry about recruiting and all that. That's Ryan Day's job and all that. He just coaches football. I respect that. I don't want to hear any complaining and all that. And actually, he was pro, like you said, he was pro and all that. But OG3 in the books. Jelani, where could the people find you before we sign off?
Of course.
And where's Thad? That should be celebrating his quarterback. His QB1. Where is that celebration? I have not seen.
He's in recovery at the moment. He'll be out in a few weeks. I'm sure. He has to see the.
That was so bad when it happened. He was probably like, "Oh, Chris is gonna. He's gonna start this BS."
Yeah, he already knew. He had to throw the little Marvin Bagley, little give at you as well.
There's a world where Marvin Bagley is 18-9 at least. There's a world.
He's 18. I mean, he's with the Wizards. He might have a chance. He don't rebound.
He's on the Wizards.
Yeah, so he's at the Wizards. He has a platform now. Let's see what you can do. But I'm on Twitter. I might have to start tweeting out my personal one a little bit more, but I changed it to Koji G. And then me and Dad probably get started up closer to when the drafts hits. You can find us at WTG MTM podcast on Twitter, and then What the Game Means to Me, YouTube, Facebook, all that as well. Instagram as well. So definitely appreciate y'all for having me on. Like I said, was missing this, loving it. I watch it each week, like you said. Love the topics. Love whenever I could be a part of it. So appreciate it again.
Anytime, man. Anytime.
Appreciate it. Jeff, where can they find you?
Of course, Jeff Needs Sports at JHunt006. And mostly like this week, just today, I recorded a show with Jay Stevens for Locked On Buckeyes earlier. And then me and Stuart from Morning Brew with Stu and part of the network, we did a all-time action movies draft. So just doing a lot of fun stuff in the football offseason. We're going to do some draft stuff coming up. I'm going to do some NBA stuff coming up. I've been so busy with a lot of other stuff, but just keep up with the Off the Ball Network, and I'll pop up everywhere. And we appreciate everybody that watches, listens, reviews. The whole deal, man. It means everything to us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Make sure that you can follow me at Off the Ball Pod on Twitter. Make sure to follow the Off the Ball Network Facebook page, Off the Ball Podcast Facebook page. Make sure to check out Get a Bucket as we get ready for conference championships. Me and Kev will wrap up. Probably do a show tomorrow, live show. Probably 7 Eastern my time and all that. So get you ready for conference championships and some recruiting news and all that, because there's some big stuff happening in recruiting and all that. So we'll talk about that, but yeah, follow the network, offtheballnetwork.com. Make sure to check out all the great sponsors we have and all that, BetMGM, make sure to check them out on the website. You can have all the links there to go directly there and help us out there and all that. But, another OG3 in the books. This is always fun, and all that. I think this is the most fun shows we all do. It's a good one. It's good conversations and all that. Yeah. So, but shout out to Mo.
With Mo from Up in Flames doing some awesome stuff right now. Go check out his Twitter.
Mo is is going to be our new beat writer covering rugby soon. Yep. So we're going to
pretty dope
to all the rugby games and tell us what's going on in that sport and all that. So
rugby is what hockey players think they are. I'll leave you with that.
Mic drop. We're going to end it on that. Peace out, guys.